Picture this, the raw energy of Kiss, a band that didn't just play rock music, they turned it into a spectacle, a band of fire, face paint, and rock and roll madness. Sold-out stadiums, explosive performances, a legacy that would stand the test of time. But behind the flashing lights and thundering anthems, there was chaos brewing, conflicts, betrayal, a rift so deep that it nearly tore the band apart. And at the center of it all, Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley. For decades, fans have speculated about what really happened. Was it just creative differences? Or was Ace Frehley's self-destructive spiral what led to the collapse of the band's original lineup? Today, Paul Stanley finally speaks his truth. A story of brilliance, recklessness, and the price of rock and roll fame. From the moment Ace Frehley joined Kiss in 1973, it was clear he wasn't like anyone else. He had a wild, untamed genius. His guitar solos weren't just music. They were electric, unpredictable, alive. On tracks like Shock Me and Cold Gin, Ace became the sonic backbone of Kiss's raw energy. But while his talent was undeniable, so was his unpredictability. Paul Stanley had seen it firsthand. Ace had a gift. He could make that guitar scream in a way no one else could. But the problem was, he wasn't reliable. You never knew if the guy who walked into the room was going to be a rock god or a complete disaster. For a while, it worked. The tension, the chaos, it fueled Kiss's dangerous edge. But as fame skyrocketed, so did the pressure. And Ace Frehley started to crack. On one side, you had Paul Stanley, a relentless perfectionist, a man obsessed with making Kiss the biggest band in the world. On the other, Ace Frehley, wild, uncontrollable, a man who loved to play but hated the business of rock and roll. The deeper Kiss dove into global superstardom, the wider the gap between them grew. By 1979, the band was on top of the world. Kiss was selling millions of records. Their concerts were a rock and roll phenomenon. But behind closed doors, it was a disaster. By the time they started recording Dynasty, Ace was becoming more and more distant. Missed rehearsals, hours late to recording sessions. And when he did show up, sometimes he was too wasted to play. Paul had reached his limit. It wasn't just about being late. It wasn't just about partying too hard. It was about respect. Respect for the band, respect for the fans, respect for what we were building. But Ace, he was losing interest. He had always hated the industry side of music. The contracts, the endless touring schedules, the pressure to be more than just a musician, it all suffocated him. And then there were the personal demons, the drinking, the drugs. It wasn't just affecting the music, it was destroying him. His marriage collapsed, his friendships crumbled, and no matter how hard his bandmates tried to pull him back, Ace was slipping further away. Watching him spiral wasn't just frustrating, it was painful. Ace wasn't just a bandmate, he was family, but sometimes even family can't be saved. And it wasn't just Paul Stanley who saw it. Gene Simmons, the business mastermind behind Kiss, saw Ace as a liability. Ace never understood what Kiss really was. It wasn't just a band, it was an empire. If you didn't show up and do the job, you were out. Gene had no patience for self-destruction. Kiss was more than just music. It was merchandise, a brand, a billion-dollar machine, and in a band where image and discipline were everything, Ace Frehley was a ticking time bomb. By the early 1980s, Ace was out. Some say he quit, others say he was pushed out. The truth? It was inevitable. You can't be the greatest guitarist in the world if you don't show up to play. And yet, even after he was gone, his legacy remained. Because no matter how chaotic, no matter how reckless, Ace Frehley was part of the soul of Kiss. His guitar work defined their most legendary tracks. His raw, unpredictable energy made Kiss dangerous, exciting, untamed. And Paul Stanley? Even after all the fights, all the frustration, all the betrayal, he still respects what Ace brought to the band. At the end of the day, Ace Frehley was special. Without him, Kiss wouldn't have been the same. But some things just aren't meant to last. The real question is, was Paul Stanley too hard on Ace? Or was Ace his own worst enemy? Was he the victim of an industry that didn't care about the artists behind the music? Or did he throw it all away? That's for you to decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love rock and roll history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because this is just the beginning.